Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar. As many of you are joining, please be welcome and happy that you can make it today. Very excited to talk to you about the talent marketplace and taking your employee development to the next level. When you're joining, there is a question and chat box. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to ask your questions there. And my colleagues and I will do our utmost best to answer those questions either during the webinar or straight after. All the content that you'll see will be made available for you to download, as well as the links that I'm mentioning. That's all available in the tool for you. Before we get started, I have to point out some legal disclaimer. We will be covering some roadmap during today's presentation, so please note that this is a plan, it's not a commitment, and therefore it's subject to change. I hope everyone has read the text in the meantime and that we can continue to the agenda. So what's on today's agenda? First of all, I'm going to explain to you the whole self model. So what does this concept mean and how does it help us? Then we're going to have a look at the talent marketplace, which is divided into three separate topics. First, the opportunity marketplace, then the capabilities portfolio, and at the end, the dynamic teams feature. I hope you enjoy this webinar. I'm really excited to share the content with you today. So let's have a look at this whole self model. So SuccessFactors created the whole self model as a foundation of a workplace that drives human experience organizational outcomes. So let's talk a little bit more about better understanding the individual, enabling them to share more about who they are and who they are becoming. Because when you have this visibility, you can make better decisions around staffing and building teams and matching people with meaningful work. It's not enough today to only have visibility into someone's skills and competencies. You need to really understand what your workforce can do for you. But when you take the whole self into consideration, you can create incredible experience for your workforce. And you can bring them the right recommendations that meet those wants and needs and align with their business objectives. We find that when an employee feels valued for their authentic self, then their engagement, resilience, and creativity is higher. And this is an important foundational concept. It's the idea that an employee is much more than just what the job description says. And this is what the whole self model is about. It is a concept that we researched and created, and it's about having people and companies capture and understand more about employees beyond just skills and competencies, but also considering someone's work styles, aspirations, motivations, how they learn, and so much more. So on the screen you can see the whole self model as a whole, but let's dissect this model layer by layer. So the first layer that you see, and at the center, is the individual. And this is what they know, their capabilities. And this is going to be their skills, competencies, experience. All factual information, what education have you done, what diplomas do you have, factual information. The next layer is about strengths and styles. And this is all about someone's personality. It's made up of individual personality traits, work styles, team strengths, and how someone operates with other people and how they communicate with other people. Finally, the third layer, this is about understanding someone's expressive state, which is really about giving people the opportunity to express themselves, better understanding their passions, their aspirations, and of course this can change and evolve over time depending on what phase you're in your life. Your priorities and motivations and aspirations may be different. So when you combine all these three layers back together, this will make up the whole self model. And as you can see, this concept really dissects the whole individual. And this is an important foundational concept that we're using. Now, do you know what hidden talents might be available amongst your employees? How about if an employee is a very avid podcast maker in his spare time, or someone loves to do photography? There are so many hidden talents that people have that can be of much use to the organization. By adding to those hidden talents, it doesn't mean that you need to make a career change. It can also be a temporary activity that you can do. So what we're really looking for in employees is to see what talents they have and how they can use that within the organization. because maybe you need somebody that has very fast analytical skills, and somebody is a gamer in their spare time and has very good analytical skills. So that's something that you may be able to use. And there may be some very interesting talents in your organization that you wasn't aware of. Now, let's move to the talent marketplace. So how do we go from the whole self model to a practical application? How can we facilitate an employee's aspirations and ambitions? This is where the talent marketplace comes into play. And on the screen, you'll see a visual representation of what this looks like, a model, so to say. So on the left side, you can see the whole self model. This is where we started. The employee skills and competencies are captured in the capability portfolio on the right side. And in the middle, you see the opportunity marketplace. And this is where employees can find opportunities to grow and expand their skills and competencies. In the middle, above the opportunity marketplace, is the dynamic teams feature, which is one of the possible assignments to gain experience. The model loops back. Participating in opportunities enhances your skills and competencies and realize your ambitions and aspirations. So when you want to develop or have an ambition, want to fulfill that, you find an opportunity on the opportunity marketplace. It enhances your skills and competencies, and then you can find another ambition that you like to work on, and another ambition. So this is how the model basically loops around. So to present the opportunities that we have created in the opportunity marketplace, we want to offer an actual place where employees can see the various opportunities right at the point in the middle where the ambitions of the employees meet the ambitions of the organization, thus creating a hub for talent and development. All right, so the right opportunity at the right time. There are different situations that can propel us to go search for opportunities. For example, someone has received feedback that they did a very good presentation, and I would like to hone my presentation skills. I could then look for an opportunity in the opportunity marketplace. Or it could be an interest or passion that I have discovered myself, or maybe I have a new goal, or maybe I am a new manager of an agile team and would like to have some help from an agile coach. And these are just some examples. There are many situations, and the opportunity marketplace will pick the right choices. And this is with a blend of opportunities from various sources for people in these different situations. Another example, so let's say you've been working in marketing, but you've always wanted to try out product management. You're unsure about how to go about changing organizations. So the opportunity marketplace has a component called assignments. And this is designed to allow customers to post and manage temporary internal assignments. Think about fellowships, gigs, or a task that has to be done, or a particular business goal for a team. Or in this case, a fellowship in marketing. Assignments are big drivers for internal mobility, but also just to broaden your experience. And I want to practice what I've learned, so this is learning by doing. It's meant to be really flexible, so it could be student learning, or perhaps it's a creative way to fill maternity or a parental leave situation. And it's meant to be very dynamic and for situations where no contractual change is required. So for assignment, the person who posts it can define what the required skill set is that someone should have, or if it's a nice to have, or what someone will be able to learn and practice during this assignment. So we compare the capability portfolio and determine the best matching. And this is where the opportunity marketplace comes in. So by capturing this whole self data, and we're not just talking about skills, but also expressive attributes and strengths, in the capabilities portfolio, we're able to understand what someone is capable of. And by capturing this information in SAP SuccessFactors, we'll be able to use that data to connect people with meaningful and relevant opportunities and to really empower them to create a career that is truly their own, so to fuel their own development and growth. It enables our customers to take an agile approach to managing workforce by focusing on skills and capabilities and encouraging employees to be proactive and pursue what they value most. The solution supports internal mobility, which leads to increased employee retention, helping you avoid replacement and recruitment costs that are incurred when people leave. And it's not just a way to retain talent, but it also creates a culture of people are drawn to. So they're looking to build their career, for example. It will help you gain deep insights into your worker skills, capabilities, and interests. It can uncover unknown worker capabilities and give you the ability to better match people with critical needs of your business, whether that's a project or a dynamic team or a short gig assignment. So now let's have a look at the capabilities portfolio and the opportunity marketplace in SuccessFactors. Okay, what you see on the screen right now is the SuccessFactors homepage. And I've applied the new Horizon theme, which is a really exciting feature that we've just released. It's an updated version of our theming. So on the screen in the center you see all the different quick actions, and as you may already noticed, there's the opportunity marketplace visible right there. But let me first start by going to the capabilities portfolio, which you can find under the home menu. And here on the screen you can see all different kinds of capabilities or competencies or skills that a person possesses. So I am logged in as Jeff Hill, and Jeff is a manager in the organization. And this is his capabilities portfolio. So these are skills and competencies that are not only related to the job he's currently doing, but skills and competencies that he possesses right now that might come in handy for an organization. So what you see on the screen is just an overview of different skills and capabilities. And as you look well, you can see that these skills are rated on a 5-point scale. Some he's very proficient, in others he is an expert, others he is an intermediate, so he has different levels. And this is basically where you can decide to what you want to work on. So if you have a capability or a competency that you're not very proficient in, it might be the right time to have a look at that. So one of the capabilities that needs some work is the competency called communicating effectively. As you can see right here, there's still some room for improvement. So Jeff is talking with his manager and he wants to actively work on that. So let's find some opportunities that can help him improve this competency. Therefore, we can go straight to the opportunity marketplace, or of course from the main menu, clicking the quick action. So this is where you'll see the opportunity marketplace visible right here. The opportunity marketplace consists of 4 different areas. So the first of all is the assignments that we've already talked about. And you can see the assignments under broaden your experience. So these are assignments that are made available based on the competencies that Jeff has available. You can filter, so if I want to filter on communicating effectively, you can see that right here. Let me unfilter right now. So this is the first one. So he wants to improve his communication, specifically his French communication. So as you can see, there is an assignment available that is a French language training. That might be very interesting for him to use. So when you click on it, the assignment will open up and you can see what it's all about. So okay, it's a 20-week training aimed towards improving your French language skills. So if Jeff thinks that's something interesting, he can apply for that and be taking part in this activity. So that's one example of an assignment. Now, if we scroll down, we have some more right there. Learn new skills, or otherwise known as learning opportunities. So these can be courses, training, sessions made available from the learning module or whatever learnings that you have. So based on the competencies he wants to improve, he'll see some skills or learnings that are recommended for him. Thirdly, we see the mentorships. So this is a possibility for him to either find a mentor that can help him develop a certain competence, and people can make themselves available to be mentors. So this is an interesting thing that you can use. It can be going across different generations. So maybe senior employees have something to teach for the more junior employees, or maybe some junior employees have interesting skills that they want to teach to the more senior employees. So this works both ways. So instead of offering yourself as a mentor, you can also send in a request to find a mentor. So maybe there's somebody in the organization that is available to help you learn a new skill or coach you in whatever way. So that's the third possibility. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can see the different career options, and these options are positions, jobs available that Jeff can use based on the recommendations based from his interests in his competencies. So these positions, they're positions that are available in the recruitment module, but it's a possibility for Jeff to have a look at. So on this opportunity marketplace platform, all different kinds of opportunities come together. And that's really a nice way of giving people an overview of what is available for them. Let's go back to the presentation. So the opportunity marketplace fuels ongoing development and growth. So by capturing this whole self data, not just skills, this information becomes available for you. And as you can see on the screen, this is also available on a mobile version, so on the SuccessFactors app, because usually when you have time to search for opportunities, that might be when you're on the go, when you're traveling, or when you have some time to use your mobile phone. So both in the desktop version and in the mobile app version, this is available. All right, so how does the capabilities portfolio work with the opportunity marketplace? One of the main drivers to identify work with opportunities is the information about people's skills and competencies, and that comes from the capabilities portfolio. So capabilities stretch all across the SuccessFactors suite and become the backbone for many talent processes. And what you see in the screenshot is a personal profile, your capabilities portfolio for your skills and competencies, and it shows the proficiency levels as well as the interests and passions. So how do we use this data in the opportunity marketplace then? So when we look at roles, we're looking at the skills and competencies required and suggest a good match so that you can see any gaps and then make a plan to close those gaps. In learning, recommendations can be based on matching learning needs in terms of skills and competencies assigned to a specific learning course. We can do updates based on training completion. For example, you have proof that you reached the next level, and then we can automatically update your profile. So this eliminates the need to manually update your profile. The marketplace view allows me to filter on what's important to me. And for assignments, the person who posts it can define what the required skill set is so that someone should have, or if it's a nice to have. So we compare the portfolio which supports the whole self model and then determine the best matching. So for mentoring that you just saw, we reuse skills and competencies, and during the setup you can ask mentors what they're interested in mentoring in. So this selection can be used for matching, and the capabilities are driving the recommendations at various levels. As a customer, you have the freedom to deploy a capability strategy at your own pace. We don't enforce a capabilities concept that's fleshed out entirely for you to be able to use the opportunity marketplace, but you will get better results if you use the combination of both. As we saw how the whole self model is about allowing people and companies to capture information about employees beyond skills and competencies, including their work styles, aspirations, motivations, how they learn, and more. So the capabilities portfolio becomes the epicenter to capture this information by having various touch points all across the SuccessFactors suite. Be it late ratings among the performance or recommended learnings based on your aspirational goals, or to understand capability gaps for target roles. Now, if you're interested and like to learn more about the opportunity marketplace, I have added some resources for you that you might find useful. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, the handout will be made available and the links there are clickable, so you can download this information for you to read up to. All right, so let's go back to the talent marketplace overview. So there's one item we haven't touched upon, and that is the dynamic teams there on top of the screen. So let's have a closer look at the dynamic teams. So what is a dynamic team? How do we define this? So this is a terminology that we use. A dynamic team is a self-managing team, a cross-functional team, and it has some structure and has defined roles. The participation and performance are usually untracked, And most commonly, the team is formed to get the work done. So just a specific assignment or to address a specific problem. And once the work is done, the team is usually dismantled. So for a team experience to be successful, it's important that we consider the entire life cycle of a team. Beginning with sourcing, the best experience is one that helps companies, individuals build the right team for the problem they're being asked to solve. In some cases, team forms organically through networks, but in larger organizations there are cases where team leads or sponsors may not have anyone in the network, and therefore they must look to a marketplace for sourcing. In the next step, the team kicks off. And so we would expect an optimal experience to be one in those on the team feels included and they feel a collective sense of purpose. And in addition to that, research has shown that teams perform better when the team members have insights into how their teammates prefer to work. So do you prefer to receive how do you prefer to receive feedback, or how do you prefer meetings over long emails? So these things are very important and they can impact the team's dynamic and should be accounted for. So once the team is set in motion, they begin to work together. So the best experience is one that provides adequate channels through which team members can give one another feedback and recognition, but also have convenient access to critical features designed to keep teams on track and moving to their destination, solving that problem. Lastly, the team completes its assignment, and it's important that the experience provides ways in which the team members can evaluate their performance of one another, but also provide a connective tissue between the team assignment itself and the future career options that may follow. So in our strategy exploration, we consider the right experience and then begin to imagine what outcomes might result from this. So the vision that we have is quite simple. We want to build an experience that will improve how people work together and allow for new opportunities to emerge in an increasingly agile work environment. So now that we have a general understanding of what dynamic teams are, the challenges they face, and the type of experience to make a team successful, let's have a look at some early adaptive version items and talk about how SAP SuccessFactors will support dynamic teams with our HR platform. So beginning in the second half of 2022, SuccessFactors has delivered its first early adopter version of the dynamic teams experience. Included in this early adopter version is a foundational set of features and functions to create and manage a dynamic team. Users will be able to search across the organization and build a team along with defining roles on the team to ensure a line of sight into responsibility. Now, in this example I just shared, the presumption is that the team lead knows who they want to staff their team with. However, as we noted, sourcing is a challenge. It's not always the case that a team lead has everyone they need in their network. So let's look at how we're planning to address that pain point. So in this pre-release, we have an integration with the SAP Opportunity Marketplace. And if you're a team lead and have staffed, for example, 3 out of 5 roles, and you're struggling to fill the remaining 2, you can create an assignment from within the dynamic team experience, publish this assignment, and track its progress. And as you begin to hire new team members, the information will automatically be populated in the dynamic team member list. So that's what you can see in this screenshot right here. So I have a video of the dynamic team features that I would like to show you. So let's have a look at how this works into practice. hope you've enjoyed seeing the Dynamic Teams feature demo. And if you'd like to learn more about the Dynamic Teams, I've added some resources for you that you might find useful. And these are available to download as well with the handout of the presentation. Okay, to summarize, at SAP SuccessFactors, we see the opportunity to change the way that organizations think about their workforce and how they can help their workforce develop, learn and grow and really take their employee development to the next level. So this begins with the Whole Self Model, which goes beyond tracking people's capabilities, understanding their strengths, styles, preferences to provide a more holistic view of each individual. And by understanding individuals more, it means that we can provide them with talent development opportunities that are aligned to who they are and who they want to become in their career. So this drives greater employee engagement, which means better outcomes for the business as well as more engaged employees who will be more productive and stay longer. We enable employees to find talent development opportunities through the opportunity marketplace, from traditional learning to temporary roles on a dynamic team, as well as mentoring and coaching. And at the same time, the opportunity marketplace enables organizations to adopt more agile ways of working, supporting short-term, cross-functional teams to form. Organizations are able to impact this entire process, especially through the impact that they have on the opportunity marketplace, which is in turn impacts the learning and development paths that employees select. And that's ultimately the goal, helping you to improve internal mobility and retention and really drive workforce agility so that you can create a sustainable workforce. We believe that you need to start with the understanding that the evolving capabilities, desires and needs of your people, their whole selves, and it must be fully embraced bottom-up, ever-expanding channels for learning and development, and with this adaptive mindset, organizations can sustain and grow into the future. So, why should you look into this? You want to create an agile workforce ready for any challenge. You want to boost internal mobility and retention. You want to facilitate a continuous learning culture. And for me, the last bullet is the most important one. You want to create transparency and offer equal opportunities. So when people are not relying on a network, but they have full visibility in all the opportunities available for everyone. So this really will help you to take your employee development to the next level. And with this, I'm at the end of my webinar. I really hope you've enjoyed it and you had some valuable information on how to take your employee development to the next level. All the information that I've shown in this webinar will be made available for you to download. Hope you've enjoyed the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today.